Okay, so today I'm going to review the Toy Biz Legendary Comic Book Heroes Judge Dredd figure. He's already out of the package. He's been on my shelf for a while, but I think he's a great figure. I'm a big Judge Dredd fan, and this is a pretty nice toy. I think they got the look of him down really well. I'll zoom out so you can see he's pretty lanky, but if you look at the older, comics with Dredd in it, he's a pretty skinny guy. He's just pretty broad up top, but everywhere else is really lanky. So they got that really well. They kind of didn't pick a specific rendition of him. They just kind of mixed and matched, I guess, to get a general overall style, which I think is the right way to go. Let's get in on his face here. Yeah, that's Dredd. He's got the big jaw and chin. I like how they worked in the little Z zigzags on his helmet, on the visor of his helmet. They got the shape of it, I would say, pretty well, because it always has this sort of blocky look to it. Underneath, you can get a little peek at Dredd's face in there, actually. They did paint in eyes and I guess eyebrows. If you look online, there's pictures of him where people have taken the helmet off, and there's sculpted hair, there's painted eyes and eyebrows. The hair is not painted, but they gave him a full head underneath, which is nice. He's got a really good profile there. You can see just how much his lip sticks out and his nose looks a little squished down by the helmet. It's really nice. This one, just because it's been around for so long, he's got a few scuffs, but that actually doesn't hurt the figure, considering that Judge Dredd goes through a lot. While I'm zoomed in, I'll show some of the other details. There's his badge, Dredd, the chain on it. He's got his crazy belt buckle, all-American belt buckle, and the pouches. They did a nice wash over everything to give it, really make everything pop out. And it does add to that kind of gritty, heavy shading that they do in all the Dredd comics. There's the ridiculous knee pads and the big boots. And they added like a bit of I don't know, kind of like a goldish wash over top, and then there's the proper green, and then the dirty brown. But if you look in there, there's like, it almost looks like stitching along the boot and everything, the way they went in there. That's really nice details. Oh yeah, and he's got his big shoulder pad, the big eagle. Very nice. That shoulder pad, the elbow pads. I already showed the gloves with those distinct knuckle things. Yeah, so okay, I'll show his weapons. How about that? He doesn't come with too much, but I mean, Judge Dredd doesn't really carry too much either, so it's fine. Although there is one glaring omission, and I'll get to that in a second. So he's got two of his guns. I don't have the package with me, so from what I would guess, these are both the lawmakers, and one of them is the first lawmaker and the second lawmaker, or lawgiver, sorry, lawgiver. Lawmaker or lawgiver, one's the motorcycle, I think, and one is the guns, so. But yeah, his two guns, so this is the older style and the newer style. I think that's what it's supposed to be. If we flip it over, same thing. They've got this nice metallic wash to them. I guess they could have used a little paint app, like a little red in the meter there, things like that. But generally, I think they look really good. Give a little spin on its own. And then the other one. I like this texture they gave it at the back. It's cool. And then he also has this knife, little combat knife, goes in his boot. Now, I find it weird that they gave him this combat knife, but they did not give him his nightstick, which he always has, if you see him like in any of his iconic art and stuff, he'll always have a billy club either stuck in his belt here or often sticking out of his boot. It's a really weird choice that they give him a knife but no billy club. Not really sure why that is, but it's probably easy enough to find some billy club on its own that came with some other toy and just put it with Dredd, I would imagine. His articulation is, he's got a bit of movement in the head, not too much. Like he can look side to side and everything, but it's about as far as he goes. Up and down, not really. Just because this helmet and this big collar really get in the way of everything. His arms go up about that far, but because of these massive shoulder pads, that's about it. You see how this is kind of loose. I read, and even on this one, I might have re-glued it, I don't remember, but I think it's this one that pops off on like 90% of them. Yeah, I guess I re-glued it back on. Like, you can just get some super glue, crazy glue, whatever, and stick it on, and it'll be fine, but don't be surprised if you get one and that pops off. It's really normal. This one I think is okay. He's got a little bicep swivel in there too, and he's got his elbow and a little wrist movement, and at the forearm there. Same thing on this arm. He's got a kind of ab torso joint, so he can look down at somebody and say like, "You're breaking the law," or stand up proud. He's got a hip or a waist swivel. He's got the ball jointed hips there for pretty good range, I would say. Yeah. And his knee, as you can see, he can almost fold his legs under. His ankle, I would be careful just because that's a really small joint in there. It still goes forward and back, but I wouldn't mess with that too much. He stands up really well, I find, without having to adjust this too much. And then he's got his little toes, little toe joint. And that's the same on both feet. So there he is. He holds his weapons. Let's give him, I think, the original one. Lawgiver. I think it's Lawgiver, not Lawmaker. I think Lawmaker's a motorcycle, isn't it? I don't know. It's been, well, it hasn't been a while. I read Dredd comics all the time. Okay, there we go. So he holds his guns well. I prefer him with this one, I think. But no problem there. And then the knife just slips in there in case he has to cut somebody. But I don't know. It just seems weird, him having this knife. That's not nearly as much of a Dredd look as the the nightstick. But there he is, Judge Dredd. So he's awesome. It's too bad that this line, I think it only went on for maybe 2 series worth. This is from the Pit line, so this is where each character comes with a part to build the big Pit figure. I didn't get all the characters from that, so I never bothered. And I don't really care much about Pit anyways. But I think Dredd came with either his hips or one of his feet. I don't recall. But that's, I think, long gone by this point. But anyways, there he is, Judge Dredd. And then this, I think as you saw, fits well in his back. So he can carry everything with him, no problem. And that's it. So, if you can get your hands on that and you're a fan of Dredd or 2000 AD, I recommend him. He's great. And he's well worth it. I wish one day that they would make a Hot Toys, like 1/6 scale Dredd figure based on the comics. That would be like the ideal Judge Dredd. And I'm surprised they haven't done it yet. But, okay, that's it. So if you have any questions about him or anything, just let me know. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.